In this class, we're going to learn how to solve quadratic equation that is not factorizable. Okay, let's start with the first question. Find the value of x in the quadratic equation x squared plus 5x minus 3.5, okay, equals to 0. Okay, now how do we solve for the value of x in this quadratic equation? You can see that this quadratic equation doesn't have a perfect square. Okay, so in an attempt to do this, we have to first take the constant term to the other side of the equation. In this quadratic equation, the constant term is negative 3.5. You understand? So the equation becomes like this: x squared plus 5x equals to 3.5. You understand? Okay. Now, having taken the constant term to the right hand side of the equation, the next step is that we have to take the half of the second term and square it. Then we're going to add it to both sides of the equation. The second term is plus 5. So half of plus 5, half of 5 is equals to 2.5. So I'm going to square 2.5 and add it to both sides of this equation. Do you understand? So the equation becomes like this: x squared plus 5x plus 2.5 squared, okay, equals to 3.5 plus 2.5 squared. Do you understand? Okay, so now having add the half of the second term to both sides of the equation, having add the half of the square of the second term to both sides of the equation, the next step is that we have to rewrite the left hand side of this equation as a perfect square. You understand? And I've already explained what it means by what we mean by that in our previous class. So here I'm going to have x plus 2.5 squared equals to, now I'm going to have 3.5 plus 2.5 squared means 2.5 times 2.5, that is 6.25. So I'm going to have 6.25. okay, so the next step here is that I'm going to add 3.5 and 6.25 together, that is 9.75. So I'm going to have 9.75 here. Don't forget that there is square in this, we have square in this place. So the next step here is that you have to take the square root of both sides. Okay, take the square root of both sides. This square will be cancelled by this square root. So I'm left with what? X plus 2.5. X plus 2.5 is equals to, now, plus or minus, square root of 9.75 is 3.1225. 3.1225. Okay, so x will be equals to, now if this plus 2.5 causes the equals to sign to the right hand side of the equation, the sign is going to change to negative. You understand? So I'm going to have negative 2.5 plus or minus 3.1225. You understand? So x will be equals to negative 2.5. I'm going to separate the sign now. Plus 3.1225, or negative 2.5 minus 3.1225. You understand? So x will be equals to negative 2.5 positive 3.1225, that is 0.6225. 0.6225, or negative 2.5 negative 3.1225, that is negative 5.6225. Negative 5.6225. So the value of x that makes the quadratic equation x squared plus 5x minus 3.5 equals to 0 is 0.6225, or negative 5.6225. If you try substituting those values into the quadratic equation, we are going to have 0. Okay, so let's have the second question. We are asked to find the value of x in the quadratic equation for 4x squared minus 16x plus 3. 4x squared minus 16x plus 3 equals to 0. Okay, so how do we solve this quadratic equation using the completing the square method? We are still going to use the same approach. The first step is that we have to take the constant term to the right hand side of the equation. Okay, so here I'm going to have 4x squared minus 16x equals to negative 3 because the constant term is what? Plus 3. So, and when plus 3 causes the equals to sign, the sign is going to change to negative. You understand? So, please just pay attention, okay? You're going to understand. The next step, having gotten to this point, the next step is that we have to take the half of the second term. The second term here is negative 16. I'm going to take the half of negative 16. Half of negative 16 is equals to what? Negative 8. So I'm going to square negative 8 and add it to both sides of this equation. You understand? So the equation becomes 4x squared minus 16x plus negative 8 squared equals to negative 3 plus negative 8 squared. Do you understand? Okay? So from this point, I'm going to rewrite the left hand side of the equation as a perfect square. You understand? So, there is something that we are missing, okay? Something is missing, okay? We have to divide, and I intentionally put this there so that we will not make the same mistake in the exam, okay? Before we got to this point, this is not valid. I'm going to explain. The reason is because having taken the constant term to the other side of the equation, we are going to divide all through by the coefficient of x squared because the coefficient of x squared is not 1. I intentionally put this there so that you will not make the same mistake in exam, okay? You can see that the coefficient of x squared here is what? 4. So we are not going to proceed directly. We have to divide the equation by the coefficient of x squared in an attempt to make the coefficient of x squared 1. Do you understand? So don't go directly to this point. You are going to get the answer wrong. You understand? So the next step is that we have to divide by the coefficient of x squared, which is 4. So this will be divided by 4, and this will be divided by 4, and this is divided by 4. You understand? So the equation becomes like this: x squared minus 16x divided by 4. That is what? Minus 4x equals to what? Minus 3 over 4. Now, do you understand now? I intentionally don't cut this aspect because I want you to learn. Okay, so let's proceed here. Now we can now take the half of the second term. You understand? The reason why we didn't perform the same operation in the first question is because the coefficient of x squared is already 1. You understand? So the coefficient of x squared is already 1, so there is no need for dividing all through by the coefficient of x squared. But because the coefficient of x squared in this quadratic equation is 4, so we have to divide all through by 4. Do you understand now? Okay, so now we can take the half of the second term. Half of the second term is what? Half of negative 4. Half of negative 4 is what? Negative 2. So I'm going to square negative 2 and add it to both sides of the equation, okay? So the quadratic equation becomes like this: x squared minus 4x minus 2 plus, okay, plus minus 2 squared equals to negative 3 over 4 plus, okay, negative 3 over 4 plus minus 2 squared, okay? Now, the next step is that we are going to rewrite the left-hand side of the equation as a perfect square. You understand? So here I'm going to have x minus 2 squared is equals to negative 3 over 4 plus 4. You understand? Okay? So here I'm going to have x minus 2 squared equals to LCM is 4, negative 3 plus 16. Okay? I'm very sure you understood how I got plus 16. I just take the LCM. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times negative 3, negative 3. 4 divided by 1 is what? 4. 4 times 4 is what? Plus 16. Do you understand? Okay? So from this point, okay, please just pay attention. I'm going to have x minus 2 squared is equals to 13 divided by 4. X minus 2 squared is equals to 13 divided by 4. I'm coming. Okay, 13 divided by 4 is 3.25, okay? So I'm going to have 3.25. Now, we can take the square root of both sides, okay? If you take the square root of both sides, this square will be cancelled by this square root. So, here I'm going to have plus or minus. So, I'm going to have x minus 2 is equals to plus or minus square root of 3.25 is 1.8028. 1.8028. Okay, do you understand? Now the next step is that I'm going to take the negative 2 to the other side of the equation. Do you understand? So the equation becomes like this: x is equals to 2 plus or minus 1.8028. Do you understand? Okay, so from this point I'm going to separate the sign. So x will be equals to 2 plus 1.8028, this is 8, okay, or 2 minus 1.8028, okay. So x will be equals to 2 plus 1.8028, that is 3.8028, 3.8028, or 2 minus, okay, 2 minus 0. Okay, 2 minus 1.8028, that is 0.1972, okay, 0.1972. So the value of x that makes the quadratic equation 4x squared minus 16x plus 3 to be equals to 0 is 3.8028 or 0.1972. Do you understand? Okay, so this will that will be all for this class. Okay, if you have any question regarding this, let me know in the comment section. And I also want you to hit the subscribe button, like the video, share the video to as many people that you felt might need the solution. Okay, so that will be all for this class. See you in the next class.